Seniors, I need to tell you something that might surprise you. Some of the vitamins you're taking each morning might be quietly doing the opposite of what you intend. Not helping your heart, not protecting it, but actually hurting it. Now, I know that might sound hard to believe. You've probably been told for years that supplements like vitamin E, calcium, and iron are essential as you age. So, like many others, you've added them to your daily routine with good intentions. But here's what most people, especially seniors, are never told. Some of the most common supplements can increase your risk of heart failure, stroke, or dangerous arrhythmias, especially when they're taken in the wrong form or without the right balance. As a heart doctor, I've seen this firsthand. I've had patients walk into my clinic feeling perfectly fine and leave shocked by what we find. So, please stick with me, because in today's video, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific vitamins that could be silently damaging your heart, and I'll share what to do instead to protect it. If this speaks to you, drop a 1 in the comments so I know you're here and listening. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Vital 365 for weekly tips to help you live stronger, safer, and more heart-healthy after 60. Let's begin with one of the most misunderstood vitamins out there, vitamin E. It sounds like it should protect your heart, right? For decades, vitamin E has been praised as a powerful antioxidant. You've probably heard it helps with memory, aging, and yes, heart health. You might even have a bottle labeled Heart Healthy sitting in your cabinet right now. A lot of seniors take 400 to 800 IU of vitamin E daily without a second thought. But here's the catch. High doses of vitamin E can thin your blood too much. And that becomes a real problem, especially if you're already taking aspirin, statins, or blood pressure meds. Now sure, a little blood thinning might sound like a good thing. But when you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, and your blood vessels are more delicate, too much thinning can be dangerous. It increases your risk of internal bleeding, hemorrhagic stroke, or a weakened heartbeat. And the scariest part? You often don't feel a thing until something serious happens. No warning signs, no pain, no red flags, until suddenly, you're in trouble. I've seen patients come in with unexplained bruising, dizziness, even heart palpitations, only to realize their healthy vitamin E habit was quietly tipping their heart out of balance. And the science backs it up. A major study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that high doses of vitamin E over 400 IU per day were linked to a higher risk of heart failure in older adults. It's shocking, I know, especially when you thought you were doing the right thing. So what's the safer option? Stick to food-based vitamin E. A handful of almonds, a tablespoon of sunflower seeds, or a serving of spinach gives you a natural, balanced dose. If you still feel the need for a supplement, talk to your doctor and don't exceed 200 IU daily, unless medically necessary. Before you take that next pill, just pause and ask, is this really helping my heart? Or am I just taking it because someone told me to years ago? Because sometimes the most dangerous habits are the ones we repeat without thinking. Let's move on to another big one. Calcium. This is the supplement almost every senior has been told to take. You've heard it 1,000 times. Take calcium for strong bones. And it makes sense. As we age, our bones naturally lose density. And the fear of fractures? Totally real. So, like millions of others, you may be taking a daily calcium pill, hoping it's helping you stay strong and independent. But here's what they don't always tell you. Calcium doesn't know where to go in your body unless you give it directions. And without the right guidance, it can end up in the worst possible place. Your arteries. That's right. Instead of strengthening your bones, excess calcium can start hardening your blood vessels. I've seen it time and again in my practice. Seniors come in with great bone scans, but also high blood pressure, chest tightness, or even signs of heart disease. And many of them, they've been taking calcium every single day. Here's why that happens. Without vitamin K2, your body doesn't know to send calcium to your bones. Instead, it floats around and starts settling in soft tissues like artery walls. Over time, this leads to arterial calcifications, stiff, narrow blood vessels that force your heart to work harder just to pump blood. That can increase your risk of heart failure, stroke, and even kidney damage. Vitamin K2 is like a traffic cop for calcium. It tells it where to go. Bones, not arteries. But most over-the-counter calcium supplements, they don't include K2. And that's not just a small oversight. That's a big risk. So what should you do instead? First, try getting your calcium from real food. Leafy greens like kale and collards, yogurt, cheese, sardines with bones. These naturally come with a more balanced nutrient profile. If you do take a supplement, look for one that combines calcium, vitamin K2, and magnesium. Those three work as a team. Calcium strengthens bones. Magnesium helps with absorption. K2 tells the calcium where to go. And of course, as always, check with your doctor before making changes to your routine. Because strong bones are important, but they're not worth it if your arteries are quietly turning to stone. Now let's move to one of the most misunderstood nutrients of all: iron. Iron sounds like something everyone needs, right? It fights fatigue. It supports energy. It helps your red blood cells carry oxygen. So if you're feeling tired, it's easy to assume, maybe I'm low on iron. That's why so many seniors start taking iron supplements or choose multivitamins that include it just in case. But here's the truth. Most older adults don't need extra iron. And in fact, for many, it can be dangerously toxic. Unlike some vitamins, your body has no natural way to get rid of excess iron. So if you take more than you need, it doesn't just pass through. It stays. And it builds up in your liver, joints, brain, and yes, your heart. Over time, that iron buildup creates something called oxidative stress. Think of it like rust, slowly forming inside your body. And eventually, that rust damages tissues, especially heart muscle. It can weaken your heartbeat, mess with rhythm, and push your heart toward failure. And the worst part? You might not feel a thing until it's too late. I've had patients come in with brain fog, joint stiffness, fatigue. They just assumed it was normal aging. But after running labs, we found iron overload caused by years of unnecessary supplements. There's even a name for this: hemochromatosis. It's a condition where too much iron builds up and starts poisoning your organs. Some people have a genetic version, but many develop it simply by taking iron they don't need. So here's your rule. Never take iron unless your doctor confirms a deficiency. That means checking ferritin, total iron binding capacity, and iron saturation, not just guessing based on how you feel. If your levels are normal, extra iron won't boost your energy. It'll just quietly harm the organ that's working the hardest to keep you alive. Get your iron from food instead. Spinach, lentils, eggs, lean meats, these give you gentle, balanced amounts. And if your doctor does recommend a supplement, make sure they guide the dose and monitor it closely. Next up, let's talk about a vitamin that hides in plain sight, and yet causes some of the most surprising heart and nerve problems I've seen in older adults. Let's talk about vitamin B6. Something that sounds so safe, it's almost never questioned. You'll find it in multivitamins, sleep aids, energy boosters, even in supplements marketed specifically for seniors. It's often labeled as natural, brain supporting, or good for nerves. And in small amounts, that's true. But here's where it gets tricky. Too much B6 doesn't just stop helping, it starts hurting. Over the years, I've had so many older patients come in with strange symptoms: tingling hands or feet, wobbly balance, mild weakness, or heart flutters that come and go. They're often told, "Oh, it's just aging," or "maybe it's anxiety." But after a closer look, many of them had one thing in common: high levels of vitamin B6. You see, unlike some vitamins that flush out easily, B6 can build up in your body over time, especially if you're taking more than you need day after day. And when it builds up, it can start damaging your nerves, specifically the protective sheath around them, like insulation peeling off a wire. This condition is called B6 toxicity, and it's more common than people think, especially among older adults who are trying to do the right thing. And it doesn't stop with nerves. Too much B6 can also mess with your heart's electrical system, causing palpitations, irregular rhythms, or skipped beats, especially if you're mixing it with other supplements or medications. Now here's the real kicker: the recommended daily amount of B6 for people over 50, just 1.5 to 2 milligrams. But many supplements? They contain 10, 20, even 100 milligrams per serving. And if you're taking more than one product, say a multivitamin plus an energy booster or sleep aid, that dose can skyrocket without you even realizing it. So what's the safer path? Stick to food-based sources of B6. Bananas, chickpeas, tuna, fortified cereals, they offer just enough in a balanced form. If you're thinking about a supplement, get your levels checked first. And never take high-dose B6 unless your doctor specifically tells you to. Because when it comes to your nervous system and your heart, less is usually more, especially as we age and our systems become more sensitive. What used to be fine in your 30s or 40s could cause real symptoms in your 60s and beyond. Now let's shift gears to a supplement that almost everyone takes, and yet it might be the most misleading of them all: the multivitamin. Walk into any pharmacy or grocery store, and you'll see shelves packed with boxes and bottles labeled Heart Support, Senior Vitality, 50 Plus Essentials. They promise energy, focus, immunity, even longevity, all in one neat little pill. But here's the problem. A lot of these senior multivitamins are overloaded with stuff your body doesn't actually need. And in some cases, they're quietly harming your heart. As a heart doctor, I've seen it time and time again. Patients come in with dizziness, irregular heartbeats, fatigue, or high blood pressure. They eat well, they exercise, they take their vitamins like clockwork. So what's the issue? When we dig into the details, there's often a common theme. They're taking multivitamins with hidden stimulants, megadoses, or sketchy herbal blends. Let me give you a few examples. Excess niacin, vitamin B3, can cause flushing, sudden blood pressure drops, and liver stress, especially in high amounts. Green tea extract or ginseng, added for energy, can spike your heart rate, raise blood pressure, and even trigger arrhythmias. High doses of vitamin A can become toxic over time, leading to nausea, dizziness, and even long-term organ damage. And here's what's sneaky. A lot of these pills list ingredients under vague names like proprietary blend or natural complex. It sounds safe, but your body, and especially your heart, doesn't care about the marketing label. It only reacts to what's actually inside. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive. What your heart could tolerate in your 30s might now trigger symptoms in your 70s. That's why the old rule, more is better, no longer applies. So what should you do? Keep it simple. Avoid multivitamins with long ingredient lists, energy claims, or megadoses. Look for products with modest dosages, transparent labels, and no unnecessary herbs. And most importantly, Bring your supplement list to your doctor. Ask them, do I really need all of these? Because your heart deserves more than a flashy label. It deserves clarity, care, and a little less clutter. Now that we've uncovered 5 hidden dangers, you're probably wondering, what should I be taking instead? Great question. All right, let's wrap this up the right way. Not with fear, but with facts. Because it's not just about what to avoid, it's about what to do instead. So here are 3 supplements that I actually do recommend for most older adults, especially those looking to protect their heart. 1. Vitamin D3. This one's a biggie, especially if you live in a colder climate, don't get outside much, or tend to stay indoors. Vitamin D3 helps your body regulate blood pressure, supports your immune system, and even plays a role in keeping your heart and bones strong. And here's the thing, most seniors are deficient in it without even knowing. A simple blood test can tell you where your levels are, and if you're low, supplementing with D3, not D2, can make a real difference. 2. Magnesium. This one doesn't get enough attention, but it's essential. Magnesium helps keep your heart rhythm steady, reduces muscle cramps, improves sleep, and even calms the nervous system. It also plays a big role in how calcium is absorbed and used, making it especially important if you're taking calcium or dealing with blood pressure issues. I've had many patients tell me that just adding magnesium made their hearts feel more settled, their legs less crampy, and their sleep deeper. 3. Omega-3 fatty acids. Ideally from fish oil or flaxseed oil. These healthy fats reduce inflammation, improve blood vessel flexibility, and help keep your arteries smooth and your heart beating efficiently. Multiple studies have shown omega-3s help lower the risk of heart attacks and strokes, especially in older adults. Just make sure you're choosing a clean, high-quality brand with verified purity. You don't want hidden fillers or rancid oils. But let me say something even more important than any supplement. No pill will ever replace a healthy lifestyle. That means moving your body every day, even if it's just a walk around the block, eating real food, not packaged stuff, sleeping well, and managing stress, and staying connected to people who lift you up. Supplements should support your health, not become your entire plan. Think of your body not like a machine, but a garden. You don't just dump in chemicals and expect it to thrive. You tend to it. You nourish it. You listen to what it needs. And that's especially true for your heart. Because here's the final truth I want to leave you with. It's never too late. Not at 60. Not at 70. Not even at 90. Your heart is resilient. Even if you've made some mistakes or followed advice that wasn't quite right, even if you've taken supplements that didn't serve you, your heart is still working, still trying, still ready to heal. But it needs your help, your intention, your wisdom. So, here's your invitation today. Take a look at what's in your cabinet. Ask questions. Talk to your doctor. Simplify where you can. Support what matters. Because your heart has been with you every single day of your life. Now, it's your turn to show up for it. If this video helped you today, leave a comment with a 1, so I know you're out there, listening, and taking action. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Vital 365, where your strength, safety, and independence come first. You still have so much life to live. Let's make it a strong, clear, heart-healthy one together.